It is time for the Royals Report, and this week we got a look at the annual Sovereign Grant Report from the royal family. The report shows just how much money is used each year to support the Queen, as well as to maintain the royal palaces.
Okay, hold on to your teacups. I hope you're sitting down, because according to multiple reports, King Charles has officially had enough. And what did he do? Allegedly called an emergency royal meeting. Yes, emergency, as in cancel the weekend. Plans: get the senior staff in the room, shut the doors, and deal with this now. Why? Because a financial report, one that's reportedly so shocking, so damning, just landed in his lap. And let's just say, it wasn't filled with garden party invoices and polite accounting errors. According to sources, this report links Meghan and Harry's ongoing ventures to financial perks that still trace back to UK taxpayer money.
Money given to the Queen by the British taxpayers is spent. And this year we found there'd been a 41% increase in spending.
We'll see King Charles do this, because I don't think that he likes the fact that he's been accused of racism towards his grandchildren.
Wanting to exploit their royal titles, I think it stinks. And I think what King Charles should do, he should just strip them of the titles.
But as you say, the main headlines really were grabbed by this £2.4 million spending on Frogmore Cottage.
Security costs, travel, support services, even reputational value backed by royal branding, allegedly still benefiting them post-Megxit. And Charles, reportedly fuming, so now he's considering something drastic. Not just another statement, not just another duty has consequences lecture, but an emergency palace order that could strip Meghan and Harry of their royal titles. Like, permanently. We're talking no more Duke and Duchess of Sussex, no more official titles used on Netflix. Contracts, no more ambiguity about whether they're in or out. This time, it's not just royal drama. It's a full-blown reckoning. Insiders are already calling it the biggest behind-the-scenes crisis since Megxit, and if it goes through, it'll change royal history forever.
This time around, the sovereign grant showed that the money that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle used since pretty significant. So for more on this, we're joined by BBC Royals correspondent Sarah Campbell from London.
Oh my gosh, I worked so hard.
So let's unpack it, because this isn't tabloid gossip anymore. This is the crown flexing real power, and Meghan and Harry are right in its crosshairs. So what exactly is this emergency order? Well, according to multiple royal sources, the monarch does have the authority to issue a special royal decree, a formal instrument of the crown that allows for swift, decisive action without needing Parliament's approval. And guess what? Reports say Charles is seriously considering using it. We're not talking about a symbolic gesture here, not some passive-aggressive letterhead change. No, this is reportedly the nuclear option, a once-in-a-generation type move, one that strips a royal of their titles, privileges, and official affiliations permanently.
People wondering whether £2.4 million is a lot of money to spend on one dwelling. We should say that the palace were keen to point out that the expensive fixtures and fittings, sort of personal touches, would have been paid for by Harry and Meghan.
Before we even get to the main event,
When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
oh, shut up. What do you mean the stakes are this high? Who do you think you are? Other than a latte-munching imbecile.
Yeah, Anne-Marie, you're right. This is to do with the Royal Foundation. This is like an umbrella organisation where last February, we saw the first annual meeting. It was dubbed the Fab Four because for the first time we had Harry and Meghan on stage, Kate and William on stage.
It's about an hour-long cab ride, never seen as grandchildren. This show is packed with the kind of spurious claims and hypocrisy that have become the Sussex signature. We learned they began making videos about their heroic journey 6 months before their Netflix deal was even announced, and right at the start of a pandemic that was killing.
There's a real delight in being able to be a present parent, and it's a luxury sometimes because we all have to work, we all have a lot of stuff to do, but when you can take a minute to just...
Saturday morning.
And Charles allegedly already has the legal advisors drafting it. One insider described the tone of the meeting as dead serious. Another claimed the king looked visibly shaken by the financial breakdown. He wasn't pacing the halls. He wasn't grumbling under his breath. He was furious. The kind of furious that moves paperwork into motion. The kind of furious that flips decades of royal restraint on its head. And this order, if it's invoked, it will be legal, public, and irreversible. There won't be a spin. There won't be a soft denial. The titles would be gone, the link to the crown severed, and this time, there's no Queen Elizabeth to step in with grandmotherly grace and stall the fallout. This is King Charles, and reportedly, he's swinging the axe himself.
She spreads her legs, she hikes her dress, circles her genitals.
She talks like she's a one-woman band. That is not hard work. Hard work is get up in the morning, get to 7 o'clock, get into a factory or a shop and working for 10 hours on your feet, coming home knackered. That's not what happens to her.
And still being a mom.
That is
still
not
being
what
a
happens to
mom.
her.
Now here's where it all starts, because behind every royal scandal is one thing, the money, and this new financial report is what lit the fuse. Allegedly, it outlines a series of connections between Meghan and Harry's post-royal ventures. Think Netflix, Spotify, Archewell. Even that jam-launching lifestyle brand and publicly funded perks they continued to benefit from after stepping down. We're talking about things like extended security costs still covered by UK-related entities, travel support organized through royal channels long after they went private, use of royal branding and titles to gain access, sponsors, and credibility. Nothing directly illegal, not yet, but for the palace, it's the optics. It's the idea that two people who walked away from the job are still cashing the check. And if that report is accurate, it confirms exactly what critics have been saying for years, that Meghan and Harry wanted out, but they didn't want to give anything back. And for King Charles, that's the red line.
This series, and they'll believe it. They'll believe the smears about Britain and our monarchy, that we're a bunch of bigoted and hateful people. They even blamed Brexit for the racism, which apparently was aimed at Meghan Markle, which is just completely absurd. But by far the most sickening part of this show for me was the constant use of Harry's...
This woman is a born manipulator. The Netflix thing, she doesn't do the work. She don't make the jams. It's all made for her.
What matters is what we have on the inside.
Sources say he was furious when the report landed. One royal aide even said he read it twice in one sitting, not because he didn't believe it, but because he wanted to make sure he wasn't missing anything. And after that second read, he reportedly said something to the effect of, "We gave them every opportunity. Now we close the chapter." That's not a warning, that's a declaration. And it sounds like the titles are next on the chopping block. So here's the twist. It's not just King Charles breathing fire right now. Parliament is reportedly turning up the heat. That's right, MPs across the UK are allegedly demanding answers. Some have already called for a formal inquiry into how taxpayer money may have been indirectly funneled into Meghan and Harry's ventures, and if even a thread of that financial report traces back to the Sussexes. Game over, because we're not talking about palace drama anymore. We're talking about political accountability. The British public is already on edge. They're dealing with rising energy prices, tax hikes, economic stress, and now this. No, they're hearing that two Hollywood millionaires might still be benefiting from royal-funded perks? Forget it. One commentator literally said, "We're not paying for Meghan's jam empire." And honestly, they're not wrong. When people are struggling to heat their homes, they don't want to hear that someone in Montecito got free security while filming. Slow motion footage of flower arrangements. The outrage is real. Hashtags are picking up.
Favorite little niece, Ashley. Meghan also sees she got no advice on royal protocol, forcing her to learn how to be a princess all on her own.
Joining this family, I knew that there was a protocol for how things were done. There's no class in some person who goes sit like this.
Press show her wearing pretty much every colour in the rainbow. The show opens with the claim that the royal family declined to comment on the series. That's another lie. The palace says it received one email from an unknown company and attempts to verify it with...
Hey, lowly cameraman, come over here and try some fried chicken. Try the fried chicken. Try the fried chicken. We need to make it look like I actually care about my camera crew. Come get some fried chicken. Act like you're having fun. Act like you're having fun.
Politicians are speaking out, and the pressure is palpable. Even palace aides are reportedly panicking, because once Parliament gets involved, it's not just a PR situation, it's a public trust issue. And Charles, he sees it, he feels it. Sources say he's been advised this could be a make or break moment. The message: act now or risk the monarchy looking weak. And when the monarchy looks weak, that's when revolutions start. Now let's address the royal elephant in the room. Why didn't they do this years ago? Like, hello? This has been brewing since Megxit. Why wait until now? Well, here's the real tea. Queen Elizabeth reportedly didn't want to pull the trigger. He was old school. Her entire reign was about stability, dignity, peacekeeping. She believed in letting things cool down. She believed in grace over retaliation. Even when Meghan and Harry did the Oprah interview, even when they threw shade at the firm, even when archetypes launched, she stayed quiet. But now, Charles is king. And Charles doesn't play like that. He's reportedly done being patient, done being polite, because this time it's not about emotions or headlines, it's about money hitting the press. And when royal finances go public, that's when the gloves come off. Insiders claim Charles feels deeply disrespected by how Meghan and Harry used their titles to gain massive commercial advantage, while still dragging the institution that gave them everything. And now that the public knows about the financial report, Charles knows he can't hide behind silence anymore. He allegedly said, "We gave them every opportunity. They chose this. Now we respond." So if you're wondering why it didn't happen earlier, it's because back then it was personal, now it's official. Let's get something straight. Stripping royal titles, it's not just symbolic, it's devastating to Meghan and Harry's entire public persona, because here's the hard truth. Without the titles, they're just celebrity ex-royals, no more. Duke of Sussex when they walk red carpets. No more royal couple label on PR packages. No more automatic prestige when pitching shows, deals, or docuseries. Their whole brand has been built on royalty rebranded. The idea that they're still connected to the throne, just in their own modern glamorous California way. Strip the titles? That illusion evaporates. Suddenly, it's just Harry and Meghan, two people with a podcast that bombed, a cooking show that got pulled, and a Spotify deal that went nowhere. That's not harsh, it's just business. Hollywood loves royalty. But it doesn't pay for former royalty with no official standing. Insiders are already speculating that losing the titles could cost them millions in future earnings. One brand expert even said the second Duke and Duchess disappears from their bios, so will half their sponsors, because perception or power. And right now, that perception is hanging by a thread. Charles knows it, the public sees it, and Meghan and Harry might be about to feel it hard. Public reaction? Nuclear-like? Forget outrage. We've entered digital meltdown territory. TikTok is having a field day. Creators are putting Meghan and Harry on blast, splicing clips of luxury homes, royal walkouts, and tabloid headlines with voiceovers like, "Tell me again how you're oppressed from your $14 million mansion." British talk shows, radio panels, and public polls are picking it up. People are calling into stations asking why two multimillionaires with Netflix cash are still linked to publicly funded perks. Reports say the public feels scammed. They're watching their energy bills spike, grocery prices climb, and then they hear Meghan might be getting soft protection through post-royal arrangements? That's a full PR disaster and a political crisis, because when the monarchy looks like it's protecting rich runaways over real taxpayers, that's not just tone deaf, that's institutional suicide. And now the palace is cornered. They either act or risk looking like they're afraid to act, and Charles reportedly knows there's no middle ground left. Now here's the question on everyone's lips. Is this real or just another royal bluff? Some insiders say Charles is posturing, that he's angry, yes, but too diplomatic to actually follow through, that he'll rage behind closed doors, call a few meetings, and then quietly back down. But others say the paperwork is already in motion. One palace source reportedly told The Sun he's reached his limit. He's not doing this for optics anymore. And that one line changes everything, because if this isn't about public pressure, if this isn't just a PR play, if this is about principle, about respect, control, legacy, then this isn't a warning shot. It's a final strike, a move that signals, we gave you time, we gave you space, you burned it all, now we're taking it back. And when that kind of message comes from a monarch, it's not temporary, it's not reversible, it's permanent. The second Charles signs that decree, the Meghan and Harry era as royals is over, not paused, not rebranded, over. So, what happens if Charles actually does it? What happens if the palace follows through and Meghan and Harry lose the Duke and Duchess titles for good? Let me break it down, because the fallout would be seismic. First, their global status vanishes. overnight. No more invitations addressed as Your Royal Highness. No more headlines using the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. No more royal gravitas in brand negotiations. The Netflix deal might survive, but don't be shocked if producers start using smaller font sizes when referencing Prince Harry. And Hollywood? It could pivot instantly. Because let's be real, Hollywood loved them for the royal connection, the prestige, the legacy, the global curiosity. But if that's gone, if they're just Harry and Meghan with no crown behind them, that makes them a risk. Brands that signed multi-million-dollar deals thinking they were getting royalty reimagined might suddenly pause and go, wait, who are we paying for again? And their fans split. Some will defend them no matter what. Others will walk. There are a lot of people who supported them because of the palace drama, but take away the drama and the royal glow, and what's left? A podcast that tanked, a cooking show that quietly disappeared, and a brand that still hasn't officially launched. It could backfire, or it could finally give the crown closure. Either way, it will be historic, because if Charles goes through with it, Meghan would be forced to do what she's never had to do before: rebuild a public identity without the very title that built her brand, and that might be the real battle ahead. So here's where we are: a shocking financial report, emergency meetings, pressure from Parliament, public outrage, and a king reportedly done playing games. Will he really strip the titles, or is this just strategic theater to force Meghan and Harry off the stage? One thing's for sure: the palace may move quietly, but when they move, they do it swiftly, and this time, the fallout might be permanent. Stay tuned, because the crown just cracked.